Hey, how's it going? Hope everything's well in Waco. Miss being in person to give you lessons, but I'm glad we're keeping it going on the video, and this will be probably a little longer video, but let's jump right into it. So, this is C here. Remember, I go up 7 notes. That's a scale. 8th is another C, and that's the octave. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count out measures, which one measure sounds like this: 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down, I'm going to play you different types of notes, and I want you to write down how many there is in one measure. So for example, this will be a whole note: 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So there's exactly one whole note in one measure. So now let's play a half note: 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So there's 2 half notes in one measure. Okay, this is where you're going to start to write something down. So now I'm going to play a quarter note, and you're going to write down how many quarter notes there are in one measure. Ready, go. 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. I'll give you a second. That was a quarter note. Now I'm going to play an 8th note. Ready, go. 1E and a, 2E and a. Give you a second to write down how many 8th notes there are in a measure. And now we're going to do a 16th note. Play a measure with all 16th notes right now. Okay? So that was the 8th note. Now here comes the 16th notes. Alright, now this one's a little tricky, so ready, go. 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So write down how many 16th notes it takes to fill a measure. Okay, great. So that's the first part of our lesson, and I'll ask you some questions. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the on-beat and the off-beat, and this is really interesting in music because it really gives the song its feel, its vibe. And you might be familiar with this already, but I just wanted to cover it just in case. If you're not familiar with it, most people aren't, so here we go. Alright, so when you count a measure, you count it 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. And let's just play quarter notes in this measure. So as you recall, here's quarter notes: 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So if you didn't write down 4 before, you can fill up a whole measure with 4 quarter notes. And I'm playing those quarter notes on the on beat, which is what I like to call on the numbers, because listen again: 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. Okay, but let's play those same quarter notes, 4, in the measure, but now let's start on the offbeat, which is all of the ands. So I'm going to play on all of the ands, I'm going to play a quarter note. So 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. Gives it a very different feel, and that's reggae like feel. So for example, I can play a little something where basically you can hear it better with chords. So 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E to 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. Sounds very reggae, whereas if and that's on the offbeat. The offbeat is on the and. So if I'm playing on the onbeat, though, listen, those same chords, it's going to sound completely different. It's going to sound more like a rap song. It's more forceful on the onbeat. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So that's just a little preview of the on beat and the off beat. Alright, man, well, I hope these lessons are helpful and you're enjoying it. Let me know if I can do anything better, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Alright, take care.